Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zod. Real quick, man, I just wanted to get into it because a lot of people have been getting at me about this whole American Cholo thing, pulling up to no jumper, and that I feel like he was justified or that I feel like he was going too far. And I'm just gonna be honest. It wasn't. I think he set a precedent, as far as like letting these bloggers know that there could be consequences to your action. Now, do I believe that the part when he said, if I get killed, then bodies start dropping? I think he kind of said that out of context. I don't think he really meant like if somebody was to smoke him, that bodies would drop, because at the end of the day, it's like that would be throwing a little bit too much importance on itself. So, but who knows? As far as hood riding from, I'm sure that would happen. But as far as like anything outside of that popping off because of that, like it's highly unlikely. But that's not. I'm not on here to like, downplay anybody's particular position anywhere, because it would be saying like me, if I got smoked with my homeboys, right? For a fact, there's quite a few of them that would, but that's a whole different subject. Do I think he was justified in going up there? I think he needed to say what he needed to say in order to, pull his name out the gutter, as far as, because if you just brokered basically something that was not only really proper, but something that was setting the stage for future things, and you try to do it in a positive manner, because I mean, to be honest, a lot of fools is trying to get at that food tiger, and he was just batting them to the side. So somehow with this dude in Power 106, combining their social media power, they're able to bring this dude, uh, to, I won't say to heal, but they were able to get him into positions where they could actually have this conversation with him and let him know what he did was wrong, and try to get what was his reasoning behind it. Uh, and I had already went through the story on that, how he said it wasn't even, he thought he was paying homage, and he wasn't there to disrespect the Chicanos, or the Mexican people. Uh, but I'm not here to validate his apology. I'm just here to give my points of views on the whole American Cholo pulling up. Now, it goes without saying, a lot of these bloggers, as far as fools that are not actually involved in the street, they may know people that are involved in the street, like the whole no jumper, and him knowing AD and a few other cats. But the thing is, like, some people forget that AD and them are from hoods, but no jumper himself, Adam 22, is not from a hood. So I think by American Cholo pulling up and giving him his point of view, and just basically letting him know, like, look, a lot of people say, oh, look at all these cholos in the thing. Well, it just, setting the stage, not even setting the stage, but just giving people a brief, uh, you know, vision or image of what could happen if you press or you say the wrong thing about the wrong people. Now, just to play devil's advocate, uh, no jumpers, they're bloggers. It's a popular thing for like young and music and up and coming artists. So, in a sense, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do in order to get the views. So it's just one of those things, you gotta kind of roll with the punch. And now I think American Cholo going on there and stating his part and letting Adam 22 know, like, there could be consequences for your action. Like, you gotta be mindful of what you say about certain individuals. And to be brutally honest, that tape was not misconstrued. It was said the way it was said, and people, whether it was in context or out of context, that the words that was said on that video came out of his mouth. Now, I think when I did see that when it first came out, the same guy, that Narik or Natif or whatever, there was a real issue with him speaking the way he was speaking on certain people, without with no real regards for the this that will come back up on him. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't worried about whether anybody's gonna say anything. He kind of felt as if he was, and you can tell throughout his when he's talking, that he feels that he's above it. So I remember that video, and when no jumper used the coonery and all this, and I think for somebody that's not black to say words of that nature is extremely offensive. And so I could see why people are on his head, because just to be honest, if you look, it wasn't just blacks that are on his head. You had other Hispanics that don't really believe in that whole, that type of wordetry. They were on him as well. That, to be honest, half the people that were on him were pointing out the fact that he's not even Mexican. Like, who are you to speak for us when you're not even full Mexican yourself? Like, you have these dudes that hold tight to the old guard, and me myself being one of those that I believe in a lot of old rules that were set and don't believe in breaking them, as far as like, stay solid, don't snitch, don't do this, don't do that. But I'm not one of those that's not with change, as far as like, you got people that they talk a certain way, they do things a certain way, and it rubs a lot of older cats wrong, because they feel like these dudes are not keeping it the same as they did. But I'm one of those that understand that some shit rises and some shit falls. You know what I mean? And with that comes change. You've had people take people's civilization and twist it to the point to where they don't even recognize it themselves anymore. And it's not to even say that this is not it's not to say this is a bad thing or not even a positive thing. It's just change. And as time goes on, there's going to be a lot of things going to change. Now, I don't want to stray from what I was talking about. The whole thing with American Cholo going on there, I felt like he needed to vindicate himself. Like I said, he had brokered a deal and essentially got the views that he needed in order to, because even when I seen it, and me and him, we ain't at war, but we just, he functions on his own level and I function on mine. But even I had to sit back and like, ooh, he got Tiger. You like, you know what I mean? That's a big thing. Like, he got Tiger. Tiger didn't have to respond to nothing, but I understand being who he is and the business to be business savvy. He understood, like, if you anger the population of California, which is predominantly the majority, there could be backlash. But so it was smart of him to come to the table and try to explain himself. And it's even smarter the move that he made by dropping the video. It didn't show no type of weakness. It didn't show nothing. A lot of people that was rocking with him regardless are gonna rock even harder, because they're like, look, even though we weren't tripping off of it, because a lot of people like to assume that just because you're that race, that you're the majority, you know what I mean? So in their mind, it's like, hey, I'm Mexican, like, and I ain't mad at it. So that's how it should go. But then you forget that you got millions that see it a lot different, you know what I mean? But I'm not here to speak on that. I'm just saying, like, the whole thing with American Cholo, I think he did right to try to vindicate himself, to make himself seem as if he's not racist, and to say that he was in fact frustrated and felt like speaking out about certain things. I think, he was frustrated. He said things and they weren't necessarily right. But I'm glad that he went on there and at least gave people a general idea of what could happen. Like when you speak on certain people, like, what could happen. You know what I mean? It's like if No Jumper anger blacks, then if they pulled up, there's a chance that it can, something can happen. Now, I think by him going up there with showing No Jumper, exactly, like, don't count out Hispanics, because when push come to shove, it'd get done, you know what I mean? And with a lot less, it'd get done, But I don't know. That's all I'm really gonna say on that. Like, it's a long video of just me, whatever, but that's how I see it. He did what he did to try to, erase what could have overshadowed what he did, as far as like getting him to apologize to the Hispanic people. That could have been overshadowed. Now, the whole Power No 16, that's something entirely different. But like I said, there's a win and there's a loss. You won the day because you got him to take it down, but now you got backlash because you got them going at Power No 6 to try to change the culture, because they're saying that you play black music, but everybody there is mostly Hispanic. So you see what I'm saying? But it is Los Angeles. But you know, people are gonna have their views on it. But I'm not here to argue the merit of anything. I'm just gonna let shit play out the way it does, like I usually do, and just sit back, just like this. You see, I'm making the video like way after. It's not really my problem. There are other things in the world to worry about: hunger, getting that money, taking care of your family, staying out the way, regardless of the music, just staying out the way, and just getting your mind right. I work in a spot to where I have to be visual on everybody and make sure everybody is mindful of what they do and to make sure nobody slips and does anything. So yeah, so I'm more focused on that than the whole no jumper American Cholo thing. Like, it's, he does what he does, and you know, I will do what I do, and hopefully no jumper start putting, you know, people on, you know what I mean, and change the narrative. But that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm your boy Zod. Continue my shift, and I'm out.